Are you with us?
Hello. Yes. I hope you can hear me. And hello from in Estonia. I'm going to talk about Estonia. Physically, I'm greeting you from Spain this time, where it is probably much warmer at the moment than it is in the Nordic countries. So it's great to take a peek on what's going on at home. My name is Jakob Rosin. I am an accessibility consultant, accessibility expert from Ligipääsuke, or in English we call it Sparrow Access, which is my co-founded accessibility consultancy in Estonia, and we basically are here to give practical solutions to all different companies, all different roles in the companies on how to build accessibility into their tools through consulting, through advisory, through testing or auditing or training. We're trying to be a one-stop shop for that. So that's what we are doing, and that has brought us quite closely, obviously, to the European Accessibility Act. I believe the situation across Europe currently is the same, and it's really good that we're talking about accessibility these days. We are a little more than a year away from this first magical deadline, the 28th of June of 2025, and I have never seen in my career accessibility to be talked as much, or the demand for the expertise for accessibility to be as high. And especially, it is a critical situation in so many sectors, but I think banking, in the view of the European Accessibility Act, is very important and very critical. First of all, banking is a service which is used by so many people, including people with disabilities. And banking is also a service where we need to make long-term changes. We cannot change the design of ATMs or payment terminals every day because those things cost a lot. In Estonia, we have been working with a couple of banks, which some of them are international, some of them are local, in order to ensure that they are thinking in the right direction. And it is important for a bank to think through those things. We are working with some of the banks on how to make their ATMs accessible, how to get cash in an accessible manner. We've been working with them on a few things. For example, we have a bank which has quite accessible ATMs through Worldline, for example, but so far they didn't have any instructions how to place them. The machine itself is accessible, but in some cases, the ATM itself was put higher than the ground is, so a person in a wheelchair could access it. And the area where you would be working with the ATM was, for example, in our case, it was on a slope. So if you would be there in a wheelchair, you would be struggling really bad to just hold you steady while you try to work in your ATM. So it's a very interesting situation. We have the technology, we have the devices which are accessible to some extent, but we also need to have the knowledge of how to use those devices or how to mount and install those devices. And this is a very important point in terms of accessibility in banking, which we've seen a lot. Accessibility needs to be understood in all levels of the organization, from the owners, from the CEO, from the managing directors who are responsible of agreeing, where does our budget go or how do we install it, to all kinds of different departments in the company, from cash services to developing apps and websites to making your systems more accessible in the support and customer service department. Everybody needs to be aware that we have different customers, and we've been definitely working on those things within our clients. Different banking sector, different banks. Lots of people, lots of departments. Turning that ship it will take some time, but I am really glad to see, at least in Estonia, that the change is happening. The understanding that we're not just changing, or we're not just following some set of regulations or complying to a law. Obviously, that is very important, but we're actually trying to make it more accessible and more understandable and usable for people, our customers. And finally, before I go, it has proven to be a success. There's a story of an Estonian bank which we worked with, making their app very accessible. And at the time when we did that, it was the only accessible banking app which worked very well with a screen reader on your iPhone with VoiceOver, for example. And what happened was that we had tens and hundreds of blind people change their banks. They changed their banks to the one with an accessible app, to the LHV bank, because they had dedicated some time to actually work with users to make their app accessible, and they now got more clients. They got a lot of good press because people are saying, well, I'm using this bank because it's accessible to me, it's usable to me, it's easy to understand. And, there are several benefits to it, financial benefits, etc., but also your value goes higher because people actively value you. So this is a very little story. My 5 minutes and my stolen 1 minute are up. So thank you. I don't know if you have time for Q&A. If we do, I am happy to answer any questions, but it's back to Sweden now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jakob. Interesting to hear that example. We had a panel here with 3 banks, and they also said that it's important that they understand on all levels in the bank. So they agree with you on that. Thank you.